So in League of Legends, I always identified with Fizz and LeBlanc, and their nickname, and that was not even as characters. This is the really cool. The characters must be really well designed, like to go with like the narrative of everything. Because I would pay zero attention to the story, the lore, anything about the characters. I didn't give a shit. It could have been black and white stickmen, and I would have preferred that because there was less to think about. Like, yeah, so but it happened to be Fizz and LeBlanc, and they were the trickster and the deceiver. And I realized that's me in real life, right? Like, I'm not like a deceiving, thieving guy. Like, I'm pretty good, but I love like, I like fucking with people. And it's almost like being a comedian, right? Of being a comedian, it's like they just build up this big premise and then bam, shut it down. It's like, hey, you know this, or you know this thing you think, you know this thing everyone thinks, boom, it's Stephen. Haha. I think it's a way of being in control, right? It's a way of being in control because if you're the one deceiving, if you're the one tricking, I think deceiver, trickster, it's the same kind of thing, right? And it's because you want to be in control, right? Like you can't just be honest and put your honest self out on the line because you don't trust yourself to have a positive response. But if you set up the whole premise and then you rip it down, you can get away with it. But you can't just trust to be like a loving person. You can't trust to be like loving and just love yourself and let it shine through and then reciprocate the love off of that. So it's like, yeah, because you're always playing a character and you can't be vulnerable and your authentic self because there was a time you were your vulnerable self and that went badly for you, and now you don't trust. You've been programmed to not be your vulnerable self because you have too many negative reference experiences in your life, because all your mind is a computer that just keeps saving the past, and that's it. All your mind knows is what's happened in the past. So you have all these negative imprints, you have these negative reference experiences from being your full vulnerable self, and so you automatically, in response to things, don't. So you can be. So this is like the meditating in a cave versus the So this is like meditating in a cave versus. So this is like, fuck. So like meditating in a cave versus. It's because I'm trying to look into the camera, but it's better if I look off into another dimension. So like, okay, so meditating. So you can be yourself now. Like I can be myself now in front of the camera, but then there's going to be some stimulus that are going to put me back into not being myself, and it's going to make me play a character. So it stops me from connecting, but I just can't help it. That's how I'm programmed. I'm programmed to not connect because I've had native reference experiences that have made it that's a dangerous situation. Some negative emotions come out of that. So I need to be as vulnerable as possible, as often as possible, so I can show my brain more positive reference experiences that it's actually okay to be my vulnerable self, and then I can be free. I think that's why you have to walk a path to mastery. That's why you have to follow your purpose, right? Because once you follow, it's like it exposes you. Because if you do one thing, but you just keep one thing consistent, it's the rest. Everything around you is going to keep changing except this one thing. So this ensures you experience everything like spiral, right? And so you can expose all the different parts of yourself, and then if anything is in your way, you have to break through it and become better, and you just have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Otherwise, you won't be moving forward. It's gonna be a time when either you're literally the light is just shining through you completely, your consciousness is just shining right through your ego completely, and you're just giving your gift to the world. Or there's gonna be blockages for you to be giving more of your gift, and that's like the biggest height, right? Being engaged, giving your gift. And so you like when there's blockages, you have to learn to break through it, and you have to keep moving forward. So that's why walking on one path, it helps you go through, because it exposes you. Because if you keep one thing constant, everything around you is going to change. Like that Winston Churchill quote, I think. But yeah, that's it, right? Consistency and discipline and intent. That's how you get anything, right? So yeah. be careful of that, right? Because my self-image, you have to keep consciously defining yourself. Or yeah, man. See, this is like Kanye, right? He always says, "I am God. I am Steve Jobs. I am Walt Disney. I am amazing. I am the greatest musician." Blah blah blah. You have to keep saying what you are because all your mind knows is the past. And if your identity is a result of what's in your mind is just the past. And so if you want to be more than what your mind thinks you are, then you have to consciously put those thoughts in your head for those experiences. You have to constantly put those thoughts into your head consciously. Otherwise, you won't bother taking the actions towards them because according to your mind, it's not worth it. Otherwise, you'd be there already. I was just gonna blurt these ideas out, but I think I'll just upload this video. Fuck it. I was like, I don't know, my hair looks shit and everything, so I was like, yeah, I'll go. Ah, fuck man, I'll just upload this because this is very real.